Billy Batson, we choose you as champion. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things you missed in Shazam.
That's crazy, right?
What are your superpowers?
Superpowers, dude? I don't even know how to pee in this thing.
Think you know the Justice League? Click below to sign in with your Google or Facebook account and take the new trivia quiz on WatchMojo.com. Follow the link in the description.
For this list, we're taking a look at Easter eggs, hidden details, and other connections you might have overlooked in the latest DCEU movie. If you haven't seen the film yet, consider this your spoiler alert.
Man, sorry about that.
Number 10. Superman Body Double. If Man of Steel was too dark and brooding for your taste, you'll be happy to know that Shazam has more in common with Richard Donner's original Superman, putting an emphasis on optimism, humor, and color.
Would you like a glass of wine?
No thanks. I never drink when I fly.
In the end, Billy makes good on his promise to Freddy by not only sitting with him in the cafeteria as Shazam, but also getting Superman to make an appearance. Holding a lunch tray, Soup sports his iconic red and blue outfit, but isn't visible from the neck up. This reportedly was not actor Henry Cavill, but rather a body double. There have been varying reports as to whether or not Cavill is done playing Superman, but his absence here might confirm he's hung up the cape.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 9. Talking to Fish. Throughout the film, Billy and Freddy try to figure out exactly what Shazam is capable of, discovering that he possesses the power of flight, lightning, and bullet immunity.
You have bullet immunity!
I'm bulletproof.
You're dead.
In a post-credit scene, they find that fish communication is not in Shazam's repertoire. Holding a fishbowl up to his face, Shazam is left feeling rather silly as he tries to get a response out of the goldfish. The guys aren't especially bummed though, as they don't really see how talking to sea creatures would be useful. Clearly, they haven't met Arthur Curry. Since Aquaman has the power of Poseidon and Shazam has the power of Zeus, we'd love to see these two superhuman titans clash in the future. Number 8. 80s movie vibes. If Captain Marvel was a throwback to the 90s, then Shazam is an 80s homage. Although the plot takes place in the 21st century, this film was clearly inspired by a few classic 80s movies, specifically the ones associated with Steven Spielberg. Billy and his foster siblings are a colorful group of young misfits, not unlike the Goonies.
I can't believe it. That's it, guys! That's it! What's that? 3 rocks out there! Take them. 1, 2, 3! Out there! Out there! Let's see now!
Billy needs to keep his superpowers a secret from his foster parents, which isn't much different from hiding an alien like E.T. in the closet.
Is he a boy or a girl? He's a boy.
While the film sets itself around Christmas time, the story and characters arguably have more in common with Halloween, a la Gremlins. On top of all that, Jack Dylan Grazer, who plays Freddy, was also in 2017's It, another love letter to the 80s.
That's where I saw it. That's where I saw the clown.
Number 7. Black Adam is coming.
After languishing in emptiness for 5,000 years, could it be?
Similar to Shazam, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson previously played a kid who gets trapped in an action hero's body in Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. Coincidentally, Johnson was initially set to appear in this film as Black Adam, but it was decided to give Shazam's arch-nemesis a solo film first.
I am Dr. Thaddeus Bodog Savannah. It was I who summoned you.
You dare summon me? I should crush you, mortal.
While Black Adam isn't directly mentioned here, his presence is definitely alluded to. With exception to the wizard who passes his powers and name onto Billy, the Council of Eternity has been wiped out. In the comics, Black Adam is chosen by the Council as champion, but turns traitorous and destroys them. If future films stick close to the comics, we can expect to see The Rock go after the Rock of Eternity.
As I endured the endless black void, now you shall feel my wrath.
If I may, mighty Adam, according to my research, Shazam resides at the Rock of Eternity.
Number 6. Djimon Honsou's second DCEU role.
Say my name so my powers may flow through you.
But I don't know your name, sir.
Shazam.
Wait, for real?
Say it!
Okay! Shazam?
The name Captain Marvel isn't the only thing Billy Batson and Carol Danvers have in common. Less than a month before Shazam hit theaters, Djimon Honsou reprised his role as Korath in Captain Marvel. Honsou plays an even more significant role in Shazam as the wizard who makes Billy his successor. And this isn't the first time Honsou has appeared in the DCEU. Honsou might not be easy to recognize under the wizard's long gray hair, but the actor was even harder to pinpoint in Aquaman, where he portrayed King Rico. While Andrew Crawford plays Rico in his physical form, the Fisherman King's commanding voice belongs to Honsou.
It is the position of the fishermen that when the time comes to make ourselves known to the landsmen, it shall be to educate them, not to destroy them.
Number 5. Justice League merchandise.
If you could have one superpower, what would you pick? Everybody chooses flight. You know why?
So they can fly away from this conversation.
A true DC fanboy, Freddie Freeman decorates his room with Justice League apparel, including a Superman toy, a Batarang, an issue of Time magazine about Zod's attack on Metropolis, and a Daily Planet newspaper alluding to Superman's return. Freddie keeps several more newspaper articles in a drawer, as well as a bullet that had an encounter with the Man of Steel. He even modeled his wardrobe after superheroes with a Superman hat and an Aquaman t-shirt.
This means Billy!
What is happening?
You're the only person I know that knows anything about this Cape Crusader stuff.
Can I?
Oh, yeah. That's crazy, right?
Later, during a fight in a mall, Shazam tumbles through an aisle of Justice League merchandise, complete with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg toys. If Billy manufactures some Shazam swag, maybe he'll finally be able to pay for that superhero lair.
A lair. Yes. If you have a location like on a cliff, like a castle-esque type thing.
Overlooking some water.
Splashing on rocks and stuff, then we will take that.
Number 4. The Lex Luthor Connection.
You're like a bad guy, right?
Mark Strong dominates the screen as the villainous Dr. Thaddeus Sivana. This version of the mad scientist also has a fair deal in common with Lex Luthor, and not merely because they're both bald. In addition to playing Sivana's father in Shazam, John Glover also starred as Lex Luthor's father, Lionel Luthor, on Smallville. Depicted as a condescending businessman, Lionel always viewed Lex as a disappointment, undermining his son at every turn. The power-hungry Lex throws his chance for redemption out the window when he murders Lionel.
No one will even remember your name.
This mirrors Sivana's relationship with his father, which also results in a son spilling his own family's blood. Maybe Sivana will become the new big bad in the DCEU, phasing out Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor.
To put it plainly, shouldn't we have a league of our own?
Number 3. Big references.
I'd like to purchase some of your finest beer, please.
We already mentioned several 80s movies that likely inspired Shazam, but there's one in particular that stands out. Watching young Billy Batson transform into a full-grown man, it's hard not to be reminded of Josh Baskin's sudden growth spurt in the Tom Hanks comedy Big. Josh even has a best friend named Billy who helps him adjust to his adult body. Unlike Josh, though, Shazam can shoot lightning bolts out of his fingers.
How old are you? Basically 15.
Given the numerous similarities, the filmmakers couldn't resist paying homage to the 1988 film. During a fight at a toy store, Shazam steps on a foot-operated electronic piano, mimicking the iconic walking keyboard scene at FAO Schwartz. Of course, there's no time for Shazam and Sivana to perform a duet of chopsticks. Number 2. Adam Brody finally plays a DC hero.
You made me a comic book? This is no ordinary comic book, my friend. This is an origin story.
When Billy's foster siblings take on their adult superhero forms, Freddy is played by Adam Brody. The casting choice is fitting in more ways than one. For starters, Brody broke out into popularity playing comic book fan Seth Cohen on the OC. Like Freddy, Seth was bullied at school and virtually invisible to others.
You look at me and you're like, why so dark? You're a disabled foster kid. You've got it all.
Things started to turn around, however, after his family took in a rebellious foster kid. The parallels do not end there. Brody was originally eyed to play the Flash in a 2008 Justice League film by George Miller that never got made. Almost a decade later, Ezra Miller landed the role of the DCEU's Barry Allen. Even if he didn't get to play the Flash, at least Brody is finally a DC superhero.
Now it's true, when you showed up, I had a superpower, but it was one I didn't want. Being invisible, not as much fun as it sounds.
Number 1. Mr. Mind.
Then it's settled. A wise decision, for Fawcett City has never faced a more powerful foe than Mr. Mind.
In a post-credit scene, an incarcerated Savannah is paid a visit from an unlikely ally, a talking alien worm. This diabolical insect appears to be Mr. Mind, one of Shazam's most formidable adversaries in the comics. He's only 2 inches, but what Mr. Mind lacks in size, he more than makes up for in supreme intellect. With telepathic abilities, Mr. Mind can literally worm his way into people's heads. Savannah's link to the 7 deadly sins may be broken, but it looks like Mr. Mind is ready to recruit him for the Monster Society of Evil. Black Adam is also a notable member of this supervillain team, meaning we're bound to see all 3 join forces somewhere down the line.
The worm, as they say, has turned.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.